there.
Hello and welcome everyone to the final seminar on stage 2 at this year's Grad Ireland Graduate Careers Fair. Thank you all so much for helping to make this fair a great success with all your interaction and engagement with all the exhibitors and seminars throughout today. So hopefully we've saved the best to last on this particular stage. And for our final talk, we're going to be talking to 3 people, all from EY Ireland, and that's Stephen Prendiville, Head of Sustainability, easier for me to say, Rebecca Angel, Senior Consultant at EY, and Sinead Byrne, Student Recruitment Lead. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So, as always, I think we have the hang of it by now. If you want to ask any questions, you can use it and you can put them in the chat box below, and you can also upvote questions you want to see me put to the panel at the end. So that's enough for me. I'm going to hand you over to the guys now to take you through their seminar.
Great, thanks so much, Pierce, and I'll take it from here. So just to start off, welcome to our seminar today, and we'll be giving you an overview of EY's future of work, and under that we'll be going into a bit more detail about EY Hybrid, which is our flexible working model that we're working on, and also EY Sustainability. But before we get into the seminar, I'll give an overview of EY for anyone who doesn't know about us, and also a little bit about our graduate programs before we go on to the future of work session. So first of all, just to give you all a bit of an overview of EY and a bit about us. So globally, we have roughly nearly 300,000 people working for us across the world. And we also have 29 regions. We're in over 150 countries with 728 offices. So it's a huge firm to be a part of, and a really great place to work. Here in Ireland, then, to give you a bit of a breakdown of what it looks like, we have offices in Belfast, here in Dublin, Waterford, Cork, Limerick and Galway, with over 3,000 employees, and that's constantly growing as well, with our managing partner, Frank O'Keefe. And we've also now announced 400 roles for our graduate program for 2022. So we're now hiring, but just to give you a bit of an overview here about our values and who we're looking for in terms of our graduates. So we're looking for people who demonstrate integrity, respect and teaming, people with energy, enthusiasm and the courage to lead, and people who build relationships based on doing the right thing here at EY. Our graduate programs then, so as I mentioned, we will be taking on over 400 graduates into our 2022 graduate programs next year, and we're very excited about the people that we're hiring at the moment. So the graduate programs that we have available are under technology consulting, assurance, which is otherwise known as audit, business consulting, data analytics, tax and strategy and transactions, which is also otherwise known as corporate finance. Applications are currently open for the roles that we're currently hiring for across all of these areas, and will close on the 13th of October at 5 p.m. Within these areas as well, we also have opportunities in cyber security, to mention one, people advisory services, which Rebecca here is part of, which falls under tax, and lots of other opportunities under these graduate programs that you can find out more about on the EY Careers website for Ireland. And finally, just before we move on, our application process for the program, it's very simple. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to apply. There's one application form where you upload your CV, and from there you are submitted then forward to the graduate program of your choice. We do hope to then interview candidates hopefully by the end of October, end of November. So anyone who is applying to our roles, it's a one-stage interview process as well, depending on the business area that you go into. The requirements for our graduate program is a 2:1 degree, and we have lots of different benefits for graduates that work with us here at EY as well. And that includes hybrid working, which Rebecca is going to go into a bit more detail about. Lots of study leave if you're going down an accountancy training contract or a tax training contract, whatever that might be. There is lots of study leave available that's fully paid by the firm, and we always support our trainees in terms of the study leave and lectures and mentorships that we provide for training students. And for those graduate programs that don't include exams, for example, the consulting graduate program or the technology consulting graduate program, there's lots of other benefits benefits there as well that I've listed here. So we're looking also just to mention for applications from students across a varied amount of courses. Whatever background that you're from, you will be eligible to apply. You don't necessarily have to come from a accountancy or finance background to apply for a role here, and we do sincerely hope that you all apply to our programs before the closing date of the 13th of October. But I will leave it there for the graduate program in terms of the overview, and I'll hand you over to Rebecca, who's going to give you an overview of EY hybrid and what that looks like.
Thanks, Sinead. Hi, everyone. My name's Rebecca. I've joined EY. I did the internship in 2017, and then I joined as a graduate in 2018. So I've been here like over 3 years now, and I'm part of the People Advisory Services team. So my most recent project that I've been working on has been the future of work and EY hybrid. So hopefully today I'm going to give you like just a taster into what we've done there. So Sinead, if you could go on to the next slide, please. So I'm sure you all know the last, it's longer than 18 months now, it's probably like 20, have been very unusual given the pandemic and COVID. My last day in the office was, I think, Friday the 13th, which is only slightly eerie in 2020. Back in March, and since then I've been in my bedroom here. But we are now moving towards, the new world, the return to the office, return to work. And EY have been working on this now in the background for months, and they've been looking about, well, how do we kind of merge the two together? People are now very much used to working at home, be it at their kitchens or in their bedrooms. But we know that we used to be in the office and be on our client sites previously, like most of the week. So the future of work is very topical at the moment, and a lot of our clients are working through this as well. You might have seen it in the news, like a lot of the big firms have come out and said, we're doing 2 days in the office or we're doing 2 days at home. And EY have gone for a slightly different approach. So it's really important on our strategy while we were working through to get to our final EY hybrid was we wanted to provide structure to enable flexibility. So it's really important if we're going to go for flexible working that we have the correct structures in place. So over the past few months, EY, we've spoken to over 200 employees across all of our levels and our service lines in workshops to get their feedback and perspectives on the future of work in EY hybrid. So what people want, what works for them, what they'd like to see. We've had 18 focus groups over the summer to socialize our ideas, people and hear their feedback. And we've had lots of interviews with our clients as well, across service lines, industries and sectors to understand, what they're looking to do as well, and to share learnings and see how they are going to approach the future of work as well. And our partners and senior leaders have, given us plenty of time over the last few months to help us develop our guiding principles. So we've been working through these 4 kind of pillars: people and culture, tools and technology, real estate and logistics, and comms and engagement. And all of this has been underpinned by sustainability. And Stephen will be able to talk a little bit more about that later. And basically what we have come up with is, and it's launching on the 18th October, which is very soon, is our EY hybrid. And our big kind of ticket line is we're not mandating days. So if you want to jump to the next slide, please, Sinead, what that actually looks like sort of in terms of these are our guiding principles. So we've worked with our people, we've worked with our clients, and we've worked with our leaders. And these are our 3 sort of guiding principles. So first, we're outcome orientated, which means that, we're working towards getting the best possible outcome and deliverable. And we do care where you do that, but it doesn't need to be in the office 5 days a week. We're embracing a blended approach, which means that could be across your client office, your EY office, another, home working office or home. So we're definitely looking at across it all the traditional sites of work. And we understand that this is the first time that we're doing this, and we haven't done the EY hybrid before. So we are striving for continuous improvement, and we know that it'll be an iterative process. So, what we do first time, we might not get it right, 100% right the first time, but we're willing to get there in the end. And our aim is, by using a hybrid working, we're aiming to deliver better short short-term, medium, and long-term outcomes for our people, our clients, and our business. And we're focusing on how we work rather than where we work. So we're making sure that we have the right sort of tools in place, and that we're enabling our people to work as productively and as best they can wherever that might be. So it's kind of we're moving away from presenteeism and making sure that you're in the office 9 to 5 every single day. So we expect our employees will work from a mix of locations, so across offices and homes. So with like our guiding principles in mind, if we jump to the next slide, we're going to look at what it will actually look like in terms of what EY hybrid will look like and feel like on the 18th of October. So Sinead, if you want to jump one more slide. So we've updated our people policies. We've got the builders in. There's a new office layout and collaboration spaces are being developed. So we previously had a hot desk system in our Harcourt office in Dublin, and there will still be like certain areas that are hot desks, but there's also cool new collaboration zones and like hubs and pods and all these fun words to describe basically like a much more flexible space, which is kind of geared towards allowing teams to come together, teams that have been working virtually through video for the last 18, 19, 20 months, and to be able to come back together in the office and do that in the same space. Obviously, to allow for that, we're also really working on our tools and technology side. So we've got Wi-Fi first modern meetings. Now I appreciate this probably is just words and jargon, but we are massively improving our Wi-Fi network in the offices and modern meetings, which will mean rather than everyone trying to awkwardly come off mute and then all saying words at the same time, it should enhance your experience. So even if you are not in the office and you're dialing into a meeting, it should feel like you're in the office. So that's the wonders of modern meetings. There's going to be like a booking system so that you can see when your teammates are going to be in the office. So like, oh, it might be good to go in on Tuesday because I can see that Claire and John are in. So that'll be really helpful. And as well as that, there's these new neighborhoods where like sort of different teams will be able to sit. So that's kind of all the layout and tools and technology. In terms of people policies, we've got some new policies. There's a now a temporarily working abroad / anywhere in Ireland policy, which will allow you to work up to 10 days outside of your typical office, provided you have a work permit. So that's very exciting. If you're going to Spain for a week of holidays, you could potentially extend that for 2 weeks and work 5 days there as well. There's a flexible working policy which allows for that, and we've kind of moved away from our more formal dress code to a more sort of dress for your day, which allows you to dress a bit more casual at home or a bit more smart in the office, depending on who you're going to be meeting. And our behaviors and learning, we're developing all the supports and tools to allow us to embrace this new hybrid style of working and to help everyone through it, because it will be an adjustment. So hopefully that's given you the slightest idea of what the future of work, big term, but what it might look like in terms of EY hybrid. So I think like if you've any questions, there's time afterwards, but that's all for me for now. Thanks very much. I'm going to pass over to
Thank you, Rebecca. Really appreciate it. And great. So we will now move on to EY sustainability and hear from Stephen. Thank you, Stephen, for joining us today as well.
No, thank you, Sinead, and welcome everybody. I know you've had a long day, so I'll try and get through the big topic of sustainability in record time. And delighted to hear, Rebecca, that so much of hybrid is coming together for October 18th, and as you said, our sustainability strategy underpinning that in every sense. That is kind of the ultimate goal of EY sustainability is to achieve that sense of embeddedness and imbuing sustainability in everything that we do, including internally to our own office spaces, how we work, but then also taking that to our clients and helping them to also achieve greater and greater degrees of sustainability and improvements to their business operating models, their people and culture, and so on. I might roll the slide because I'm conscious that this is the future of work session, and you couldn't pick a more volatile, unstable topic to discuss than sustainability. Everybody kind of has this great sense of the finish line. We know where we have to go. The destination is ultimately clear. But today, it's an alphabet soup of regulation and ideas and metrics and desired frameworks that are all competing and jostling and ultimately, you know, tackling parts of the challenge. And if I can take you from left to right, just to give you the sense of things, this is the SBTI is nothing like acronyms, Science-Based Targets Initiative. That group is the group that's trying to get everybody to commit to a plan that will ultimately reduce your emission footprint as a business, and that level of reduction is called a science-based target. It's based on science, believe it or not. And the idea would be that if you achieved it, we will be able to keep global temperatures in line, in check with the 1.5 degree target. We just actually completed EY's State of Sustainability report for Ireland, having surveyed 250 Irish businesses, Indigenous Irish businesses, that, you know, not PLCs and not folks that are owned by overseas investors. And we found that there's only 20% of Irish business currently has a science-based target. So that'll just give you a sense of there's plenty of more people that are going to be coming into that space over the coming year or two. GRI, SASB, IFRS, ISSA, TCFD, these are all different reporting standards and financial reporting standards that that the accountants out there are all jostling with. The Task Force for Nature-Based Financial Disclosure, the TNFD, is the accountant's answer to the biodiversity crisis in terms of measuring our natural assets and natural capital. And then the SFRD is Sustainable Finance Directive. That's for the financiers out there, and the goals there being to promote amongst the banking community and the lending community sustainable lending and green lending, for want of a better term. So you'll see an awful lot of our banks starting to kind of differentiate and offer differentiated terms for investments and loan opportunities related to sustainable finance. And the final one, that's CSRD, is the European Directive for corporate reporting disclosures on corporate sustainability. And 2 years from now, it is expected that a financial report for a company will include details on sustainability targets and sustainability initiatives of a company, and that those will have to be audited and assured by the financial auditor. So you can just imagine then that the discipline of accountancy, the discipline of engineering, the discipline of HR, IT systems, all of these things coming together and necessitating that kind of reporting to all coalesce. So as Sinead said at the top, we're very much in our graduate program, we value the diversity of thought and diversity of experience. And it's because of things like sustainability and that CSRD that we see the value in having grads from multiple backgrounds, because we think it's going to take a village to be able to pull off some of these things in the future. Can we roll the slide? So I'll use my iceberg analogy just again to show the scale of things that we need, and when we talk about sustainability. For years, companies have been tackling what we call their Scope 1 and their Scope 2 emissions. That's the direct and immediately indirect emissions of your operation. And those are just the tip of the iceberg. The Science-Based Targets Initiative drives you into what they call the Scope 3 conversation, which is all of your supply chain, how you get your product to your customers, how your customers use your product, and everything in between. So everything that is induced by your presence in the marketplace falls into that Scope 3 bucket. And the Science-Based Targets Initiative demands that you actually tackle that as well. And it's changing the nature of what it means to kind of be a successful business consultant. So if you just roll one more slide with that split, it kind of gives you the sense of everything that comes when you try to address the bottom half of the iceberg. You have to be able to link up and diagnose and set strategies that cross over HR and finance and ERP systems and CRM systems and your supply chain and procurement processes, logistics, legal. There's data protection issues. There's how far into your supply chain do you go? What do you do with your people? Like, how do you need to know whether your persons are, commuting long distances? Do they have to drive electric vehicles? All of this kind of very complex and layered type of relationship change that needs to come along with sustainability. You've got things then on the right hand side of the pyramid that I've listed there. These are all kind of questions on that as an industry we have not solved at this stage. So it's a very exciting time to be a new graduate, that you can often think that you're coming into a situation, like accountancy has been around for years, tax has been around for years, and so on and so forth. But what we've actually got in sustainability is this just radical uplift and change of our entire monetary system in many respects. And we'll just roll it to the last slide then, Sinead. And that's the big question to be thinking about as you're coming out now and you're thinking about the future of work and you're thinking about, entering like an EY. The question that's on my mind and what I'm striving for in terms of supporting our clients is, that idea of integrating an unstable, constantly changing, moving a lot, sustainability and carbon system. How do we integrate that with our existing economy? And I used the example earlier today. If any of you out there have watched Stranger Things, like the carbon economy is almost the inverse of what we experience right now in a normal economy. We spend euros, but then it's underneath there's carbon, and we need to be able to square that away. And so what I've actually posed here is a number of questions on across various different elements of the profession that we would have to start asking ourselves, like, what is true and fair when it comes to carbon disclosures? For those of you that are budgeting auditors, we're going to have to ask ourselves a question about what is material when it comes to sustainability disclosures. We're going to have to look at the value of businesses in the context of goodwill and brand value when it comes to sustainability. But then on the proactive side, we're also going to have to find ways of, continually improving on carbon journeys or sustainability journeys by embedding sustainability in corporate strategies. And look, many of you will have done modules on corporate strategy or strategic initiatives and so on as part of your degrees. I'm not sure we've had the chance to really think about what a successful corporate strategy with sustainability embedded looks like. Anecdotally, I think we know what it should look like, but we haven't tested it. We haven't tested it in the real economy. So there's massive opportunities, is what I want to just convey to all the grads out there, that your tenacity and your innovative thinking is going to be critical to us solving, some of these questions. There is no answers to lots of these. There's lots of thinking going in, but we are right today at a point in time in our journey where we're having to rethink so many things because of sustainability. And it's an incredibly exciting time for you as grads. And I hope that you'll consider helping EY to solve those questions. We've generally speaking, we're in the business of asking better questions, if you haven't already heard. And the goal really is to build a better working world. So hopefully we'll see some of you through the grad recruitment process, and I'll hand it back to you, Sinead, now for questions.
Thank you, Stephen. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Rebecca, as well, for bringing us through those two pieces on the future of work. Really appreciate it. So, if there is any questions at all, I have our chat open here as well. So please feel free to ask anything at all.
Thanks, guys. That's really, really good stuff. Really insightful, views on stuff that's happening, now. And it's great to see, EY putting practical, steps in terms of sustainability and the hybrid working model as well, rather than people talking about it. This is backed up by evidence in the work that you're actually doing. So we've loads of questions that have come in. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, unfortunately, but I'm going to try and pick a couple I can that I think are the most relevant. I think I'll fire this one to you, Sinead, if that's okay, which is about the hybrid working model and how it's going to impact maybe the graduate program itself and the application process. Maybe not this time around, but maybe going forward in the future.
Sorry, could you repeat that one again? I had a bit of an issue with my sound.
Yeah, no way. So it's about the hybrid working model and how it's going to impact the graduate application process and the EY's graduate program. Maybe not this time around, but maybe moving forward.
Yeah, of course. This year, we've changed things a little bit. We always had our graduate interviews in person, and we do love to meet people face to face. And unfortunately, this year we do want to make sure that we are just, I suppose, being careful about bringing people into the office. So all of our graduate interviews, pre-interview events, everything that we'll be doing for this year's graduate program will all be virtual, and we'll be joining lots of virtual fairs over the next couple of weeks before the grad program closes now on the 13th of October. But going forward, we do hope that we can be a little bit more back in person for our interview processes and things like that for going forward. But at the moment, the way it has affected our application processes and interview processes is that we have kind of streamlined everything to make sure that it's easier for students to apply and for graduates to interact with us on a virtual level. And hopefully going forward we can be back in person again in 2022 for our future graduate programs and internship programs as well, which we'll be advertising for across the months of January and February. So that's just some more opportunities to come up over the next couple of months as well.
Perfect. And then this will be the final one. So unfortunately, Rick, I won't be able to fire one your way just due to time constraints. So Stephen, this is for yourself. And someone just asked here, does EY have any specific goals around sustainability or any key outcomes you're looking to achieve, in the short to medium term?
Oh, that must have been a planted question, Pierce. So yeah, no, we were delighted to announce in January the goals of the firm globally to be carbon negative in 2021, and then we're striving out for that science-based target of net zero in 2025, which, just to put that in context, the majority of other firms will be striving for 2030, and then other more difficult industries are pushed to 2050. So we wanted to kind of really accelerate on, can we decarbonize at a level to achieve that science-based target in 4 years, basically, and putting in place then very immediate kind of initiatives to tackle that. So Sinead mentioned it was on, I don't know, it would have been on Rebecca's slide earlier, that we've installed EV charging stations. We took space away from other cars for that. We've expanded our bike rack facilities, again, took away car park spaces to do that. Increased improved our shower facilities, again, to facilitate people with their commute to work. And then, maybe more controversially than anything, we changed our expense policy. We've basically changed our expense policy in a manner that would, and I don't have all of them to hand, but all of our people are entitled to a business class train ticket in order to commute to the office for training or client purposes and so on. And we've removed what happens in a lot of mileage and expense type accounts, where the size of your vehicle, you don't get more expenses because you're driving a BMW. You get the same, if not less. And we kind of remove that incentive, I suppose, to have bigger vehicles with mileage allowances and so on. And look, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I really did mean it, that there's several complexities with trying to reduce your emission footprint over time, like trying to work with our people on the hybrid working model, to make sure that we fundamentally, we don't create more carbon through the hybrid working model, or we don't actually have unintended consequences on our sustainability initiatives through hybrid. So we really are looking to maximize efficiency for all of us, so that we value people's time, we value the environment, and ultimately everybody gets the best experience out of working with EY as a result. So yes, thank you for that lovely plant question, Pierce. That was great.
I wish I would plan it. I wouldn't be able to come up with a good question as that. All the credit goes to the people watching. So look, I appreciate that. There too, the future work, sustainability, the EY graduate program itself, three big, massive topics. You managed to condense it all out into half an hour. So look, fair play. Really, really appreciate your time. So thanks to Stephen, Rebecca, and Sinead for your insights and for taking part in this fair today. Subjects that have an instant effect on students and graduates today, but the world as a whole as well. So it's really an interesting topic. A reminder, as with all the other sessions, you can watch this on demand right here for a week, and it'll also be on the Grad Ireland YouTube channel. So just say thank you once again to all our exhibitors, panelists, and all of you for registering and contributing to another great Grad Ireland Graduate Careers Fair. We will see you all in February for Grad Ireland Live, but thanks to the guys again, and until then, goodbye.
Thank you.